Welcome to another folktale Fridays. This one is a story from. Well, it's a bizarre story. It's kind of set in East Africa. It kind of takes us to West Africa, and then it kind of takes us all the way to the far north. Well, let's see. It's called Lemurani and the Bride Price, or the Magic Tigress Queen from the Far North. Once upon a time, in a land far away in East Africa, there lived a young hunter among the Maasai people. His name was Lemurani. Lemurani was the son of Seronka, a shaman of the people, and he had fallen in love with the chieftain's daughter Ravi, the Blessed One. But her father, the Legashan, had set the bride price. A Laban is like a chieftain. He set the bride price very high indeed, 20 lion skins and 20 zebra skins and 20 gemsbok skins for his fair daughter Ravi's hand in marriage. Lemurani went that day into the bush with his best friend Lokera. As they journeyed on, they grew hot. "Hey, Lokera, any water left in the water skin of yours? I'm all out," said Lemurani. "Yes," said Lemurani. "Here, I have some. We shall share. We are like brothers, after all." Lemurani drank while giving thanks to the Creator Enkai. Well, Lokera, my friend. I haven't seen a single lion. We've managed to get the zebra and gemsboks, but not a single lion. Why did Chief Legashan have to set the price so high anyway? "I suppose," said Lokera, "he wants the best for his daughter, and doesn't just want any boob guy marrying her." "Hey, I'm not a boob," said Lemurani. "Never said you were, but you know how it is with fathers and daughters," said Lokera. So they journeyed on like this for many days. And no lion. Just then Lokera heard a loud roar. "What was that?" asked Lemurani. "I heard it too," said Lokera, "but I don't see anything." "Ah! Something cut me! I'm bleeding!" yelled Lokera. Run for your life!" Lokera yelled to his friend. "No, I won't leave you," yelled Lemurani as he slashed at the air in Lokera's direction with his Maasai spear. Just then they heard a screech as some great cat screeched, and Lemurani felt as if he had been slashed into his flesh. "Ah! There is something there!" Lemurani managed to pick up his brother Lokera, and together they ran. But the roaring got louder, and they jumped right in front of them. Appeared there was a great white tigress. There the two Maasai hunters stood in amazement, jaws dropped, not knowing what to make of this strange creature. "It's a great cat of some kind," said Lemurani. "But what kind?" asked Lokera. "I've never seen anything like it before. It's definitely no lion or lioness." "Silence!" roared the tigress, in a fully coherent human speech, sounding roary like a tiger. "I am the magic white tigress queen of the far north, and I am here to protect all members of my kindred of the wildcat kin, and you will not harm my cubs nor the cubs of the kin of the wildcats here." But, what are you doing here?" trembled Lemurani. "You are a tigress, as you say, and we have none in Africa that I know of." "That is none of your business," roared the tigress queen. "Now, do we have a deal, human?" asked the tigress. Lemurani summoned up his courage and said, "No, we do not have a deal. I need 20 zebra and 20 jembok skins for the bride price, so that I can marry my beloved Ravi, the chieftain's daughter. And you won't stop me, tigress queen." When they Well then, roared the tigress, you will just have to die then, and with that she disappeared, and then instantly he felt himself being clawed from behind. Lemurani roared in pain. Ah! What? Lokera, run! Get out from the village quickly! Lokera ran as fast as his feet would carry him. But all of a sudden he found himself being surrounded by tigress cubs who all pounced on top of Lokera, tearing him to shreds. No! Cried Lemurani. He was my best friend. Lemurani readied his shield and spear and faced the tigress queen. You will pay dearly for this, your highness, cried Lemurani. The battle ensued between the two and lasted throughout the day. Lemurani knew that this was hopeless, and he knew he had to find a way to escape. Night was coming on fast, and he knew wildcats could see in the dark, plus this was no ordinary wildcat. Lemurani heard a sweet woman's voice in his ear, saying, Have faith. Have faith. You will be safe. And so, in one last desperate attempt, he grabbed some sand and threw it in the tigress's eyes and prayed to Enkai, and as fast as his long Maasai feet would take him, he finally reached the village in time. Looking behind, he saw no one had followed him. I can't be sure. She has a habit of making herself unseen, Lemurani thought. He made his way into his father, the shaman's hut, collapsing on the floor. Old Saronka immediately rushed over to his son. My son, what has happened to you, and where is Lokera? My father, a terrible thing has happened. A mysterious new power has come to Maasai land. Old Saronka helped his son up and prepared a poultice of herbs to help with his wounds, made help a strong healing tea, and had him lie on the floor bed, as Lemurani told his tale of his fight and the tigress queen. After Lemurani had told his tale, Saronka sat up and stretched. This is a very strange tale you tell me, my son. The tigress, I had had dreams of such creatures. But what is one doing in Africa? I know not. And one with the strange powers, as you say. My son, I think you must leave our village for a time. I fear none of us will be safe now that you have incurred the strange powers' wrath. You must go far from here. I do not know when or if you can return, Saronka said with a tear in his eye. I will remain here, prayer and meditating deeply in ritual on these matters. Here, my son, I give you this amulet of protection. It will protect you against some of the tigress queen's attacks, perhaps. It is the insignia of Olapa, the goddess of the moon, Enkai, the creator's wife. She will protect you against these attacks, Enkai willing. Now go with Enkai, my son, and may he watch over you. Saronka said as he hugged and kissed his son one last time, and then he went over to his mother Esian Kiki, and hugged and kissed her goodbye with many tears as well. Do not worry, my son, your father will find a way to help, I'm sure. So that very day Lemurani set out back into the savannah. He had a pack of supplies and food his mother had given him. As he was journeying forth, he heard a cry from behind. Lemurani, Lemurani, wait for me! Lemurani turned around, and there was his own beloved Radhi running after him. She leapt into his arms and embraced him. If you have to go, I wish to go with you. No, Radhi, your father the chieftain would be most angered. You are not my bride yet. He would send warriors to find us, and you would get both of us in trouble, as well as I know not where my journeys will lead me. I could not stand the thought of losing you, my dearest one. So for one last time, Lemurani and Radhi embraced one last time and said farewell. Radhi, with tears in her eyes streaming down as she watched Lemurani leave. Lemurani walked for hours. Getting thirsty, he sipped from his gazelle bag waterskin. He camped that night under an acacia tree near a little pool of water. In the night, he heard the sound of a woman's voice again. Fear not, Lemurani. And there materialized before his eyes was a woman all cloaked in green with green skin and eyes. If you need help in your quest, you will need help from the west. And with that she blew softly into Lemurani's ear. Now you will have the fleetness of the wind under your feet. When Lemurani awoke, he saw another face, but instead of the beautiful green woman, it was the white tigress queen. Ah! You again! Lemurani screamed. Yes, me again, cried the tigress. You wish to kill me and my cubs for a bride price, and still, or to avenge your dearest friend, perhaps. She reached out to claw Lemurani, but with lightning speed he dodged. The tigress watched in amazement. What? What is this? The little frog can move. And with that, Lemurani ran, and he ran westward. He ran just like the wind. Before he knew it, he arrived in a strange new land. Lemurani had awoke, and he saw a rabbit scurry into a bush. He followed after him, for he was very hungry. As soon as he got into the bush, he was stopped by this little dwarf man with red skin and a dark red beard. What are you doing? Said the dwarf man. Those rabbits are my children. Don't you be hurting my dear one now. Lemurani bowed in humble forgiveness. Oh, noble sir, I'm sorry I was so hungry. I was chased all the way from East to West Africa in this stranger land. Who are you, anyway? I am called Afolabi, which means born into wealth. I am a chieftain of the magical Contemple people. We live in a world closely connected to your own. Come, my friend, to my home and tell me your tale of how you travelled so far. So Lemurani was invited and found himself enter into a strange new realm through that bush. A portal opened up at the little man's command and a thumping on the earth with his staff. The Contemple women of this realm looked taller and more normal, but the men were much like Afolabi, red complexion. Lemurani had dinner at Chief Afolabi's dwelling with his many sons and daughters, and Lemurani was amazed that Afolabi's wife cooked the dinner in a bowl upside down on the ceiling. After dinner, Afolabi asked, So, my dear boy, tell me your tale. Lemurani began and proceeded to tell of the bride price for Radi's hand in marriage, and the supernatural tigress queen, who is angered at his trying to kill the animals. A tigress, you say? Interjected Afolabi. I think I may know of someone who may help, but he lives even further away. Far away from the Contemple realm here in West Africa, even far away from your land in East Africa, far, far into the northeast there lies among the people a people known as the Yakut. In the far northland, a shaman by the name of Acn. For you see, proceeded Afolabi, this tigress queen is no mere tigress. She is a celestial tigress, a goddess who cares for all living creatures in the world. She is the queen of the animals everywhere, and we must find a way to assuage her wrath you have stirred. But I need the animal pelts for my bride price, plus we have always killed animals to live, interjected Lemurani. Do not worry, young one, spoke Afolabi wisely. Where there is a will, there is a way. Come now, we shall do a ritual to transport you to where Acn lives. He will know what to do. So Afolabi took Lemurani to a glistening pool that had an antelope grazing on the grass by the pool. It was very peaceful, and serenity and tranquility surrounded them. He then proceeded to cut and bend the small tree sapling into a hoop, standing on the ground. He then took out what looked like glistening earth and threw it at the hoop. "Now, young one, jump through! Jump through!" Lemurani jumped, and with all his might threw the hoop, and then he found himself engulfed into darkness. When he awoke, he was freezing, and he found himself inside a small conical hut. Suddenly he heard an old wizardly voice in his ear. "Well, lad, you've made it. You're here with me in Yakutland. My dear friend Afulabi in West Africa of the Contomble people told me about your coming. It seems you have woken the tigress queen of the far north. Her name is Salustana. In my meditations I have deduced you have created a rift in the animal and spiritual animal guardian realms. I fear this began when she lost a cub to a Russian hunter up here in the north. This cub was very dear to her. Then she raged and fumed inside and set out to find anyone who would dare to kill her kind, or any related to her. She used her magic to track down any and all through the world at large until she stumbled across you looking for her bride price." "Well, what do you think we should do?" anxiously asked Lemurani. "Well, it won't be easy," said Asian, "but I believe we must help her avenge her cub for a start. It's fortunate for you that I happen to know that where this hunter can be found. His name is Borya Negorov, and he lives in a cabin not far from here, in the west a bit. But you must stay here with me a while, and rest more, and I will set out with you to show the way." So the next few days Lemurani was given warm clothes, and fashioned himself a new spear and a bow and arrows. And when all was made ready, he and ACN set out to the hunter's cabin. The two of them travelled long and hard, and they travelled far through a thick, deep tiger forest. When Lemurani spotted something following them through the trees. "It's a tiger! It's a tiger! I saw her. She's following us," Lemurani said. "Yes, I was worried about that," said ACN. "Do not worry, do not fear." But no sooner had he said this than when the tiger queen leapt out of the trees, baring her claws, swiping at poor Lemurani. "Back, back, you devil!" cried Lemurani, who swung at her with his spear. This did not deter Salustana, who lunged at Lemurani, crying, "I have you now, little man-cub. You will not harm my cubs. What is it that you do? You are not satisfied with killing the creatures in your own land? You have to come to mine?" Lemurani blocked the blow at the tigress's claws with his shield, and cried, "Your divine majesty, tigress queen, I never meant to harm your cubs. But yes, sometimes my people do need to eat and survive off the animals of our land. I am not the one who killed your cub." "Liar!" cried the tigress queen, and with that she breathed the strange etheric blue flame at Lemurani. The heat was indomitable as Lemurani held his zebra shield up to block the flames at it away. But sure enough, the amulet of Olapa his father had given him kept him safe from the heat, and the tigress's flame was lessened. The rare battle raged onward, with Lemurani dodging back and forth and back, trying to escape the tigress's flame and claw. ACN was busy praying to the Creator, trying to cast a spell of protection upon the young Maasai warrior. Then ACN came up with a plan. He decided to cast the magic powder sacred earth of the Creator into the tigress's eyes. As soon as it landed into her eyes, she collapsed in a heap. "What did you do to her?" cried Lemurani. When the tigress queen awoke, she found herself tied up quite strong by ACN's magic knots. Let me go at once, this instant," roared the tigress queen. But very calmly, ACN just told her very gently, "Now, your majesty, if you will only calm down, I will tell you who really killed your cubs." "What? You know the one who killed my cubs? But I already know that. It was the young hunter here, Lemurani. No, cried ACN quite adamantly. It was not this young boy here. It was the Russian hunter. He was a Russian hunter by the name of Borya Negoroz, and we were on our way to avenge them for you when you attacked us, exclaimed ACN. Very well, said Salostana. I will go with you to see if this is true. So the three of them travelled until they came to a small hunter's lodge in the forest, and there outside the lodge was a long-bearded hunter, butchering a tiger. And there were pelts of many tiger cubs, all outside of his lodge. As soon as Salostana saw this, she flew into such a rage that she charged right at the hunter Borya, and suddenly he grabbed his gun and at the charging tiger's queen. But as soon as he tried to fire, he found plant roots growing all over his gun. What's happening? He cried, and before he knew it, Salostana was on top of him, ripping out his throat. After the tigress queen was done with her revenge, she turned to Lemurani and ACN. I have misjudged you, young man. I am sorry for attacking you, but surely there must be a better way for your bride price. I can't have you attacking animals anywhere. They are all under my protection, for I am the queen of the celestial animal realm, which governs all the animals of earth as well. Do you swear? Roared the tigress queen. Lemurani trembled by her sheer might, but summoned up all his courage. Your Majesty, I did not mean to offend, but you see my people still need to slay a few animals within moderation to survive, and we have always prayed for the animal's soul and spirit afterwards and made an offering. Please, Your Majesty, you must understand this, begged Lemurani. Pondered Salostana. Well, perhaps, but you must never attack the wildcat cubs or the jackals. You must swear. If you swear, then I will help you and with your bride price for your precious Ravi. Yes, Your Majesty, I swear. And with that, Lemurani took out his knife and cut his hand. And he swore upon his beloved Ravi's own life. Come, said ACN, we must get you back home now. Save your spells, shaman, cried Salostana. I will take care of this young man's travels. So the tigress queen waved her paw in the air and opened a portal in which Lemurani and herself stepped through. And as they said farewell to the wise Yakut shaman. And now Lemurani and the tigress queen found themselves back in the steppe lands of East Africa, just outside Lemurani's village. Now, said Salostana, I will get your bride price. And away she ran into a few short hours. Later there were the lion skins that he needed. Now, said the tigress queen, I will expect you to make the proper offerings for these brave souls. Lemurani did just that, praying to the animals' souls and spirits, and to Lord Enkai, creator of all things. After this was all done, Lemurani went to see the Legoshan. He entered Legoshan's Laban lodge. Well, young man, have you got the bride price I did request from you? Yes, said Lemurani, and he placed the skins before the Laban's feet. Good. The wedding will commence in a few days. So Lemurani and Ravi had a magnificent wedding, and even Afolabi of the Condomble from West Africa came with his people. Many red dwarf men with red skin showed up, and just as Lemurani's father, Saranka the shaman, was about to perform the marriage, Afolabi stepped forth and cried, Stop! This young man has proved himself worthy of my people. Let me perform the ceremony. Well, what could the old shaman Saranka do but give way to one of the sacred Contomble? And so the wedding ceremony was commenced by the Contomble chief and blessed in the Contomble way. And Lemurani kissed his fair bride A few yards away outside of the village, all this was seen by a certain strange tigress queen, a slight smile on her face. "May the Creator grant you both long life," she cried, "and don't forget your promise, or I will be back." With that she faded and disappeared back into the ether where she did come. The end.